All right, it's me, Trell.
It's me, Nate.
It's me, Isaac.
And we are the Storytellers. Cairo's not here today. He's being a lazy bum. But, yeah, let's start a podcast.
Yeah, the monkey on the keys.
The monkey on the keys, yeah. The monkey on the ones and twos. Speaking of which, the first thing I wanted to say was happy birthday, Nathan. Tomorrow is Nathan's birthday.
Appreciate it.
Tomorrow's Sunday, right?
Yep.
I was thinking it was going to be Monday. I was going to think we were going to put the episode out on your birthday, but nah. First thing, I guess we can get to your point, Isaac. We'll talk about Malignant. Is that what you want to talk about first?
Gosh. All right. Has either of you seen Malignant?
Nah, but tell me about it.
Okay, so this movie is James Wan, based on like an idea.
You said James Bond?
James Wan.
Oh.
Like Saw, Insidious, Conjuring, James Wan, right? Aquaman.
Yeah.
And I love James Wan. Him and his wife kind of came up with this idea, and they developed it together. And it's very like, I feel like divided among fans and critics right now. So that's why I was like, you know what, I gotta see this movie. It's scary. This is the time of year to watch scary things. So
what do you mean by divided?
Huh?
What do you mean by divided?
Like, some people think it's amazing and some people think it's terrible. And
where do you stand on that?
Why does it have to be either?
Wait, what?
Like,
it's scary and terrible?
No, it's not scary at all. I didn't find it scary. I found it fantastic. Okay. But like, the point of the movie is like James Wan very purposefully made it very B-movie type. Like, the things that people complain about in the movie are valid. It's just like, that's the point. Like, some of the acting is over the top, and that's kind of the movie he was trying to make.
Is this like Cabin in the Woods?
No. I don't even know what to describe this movie as. I just loved it. I watched the whole thing with a huge smile on my face. It's got bonkers twist after bonkers twist. The music is like so over the top. Like, it's like there's this one point, and it's not a spoiler, but it's like very early in the movie, one of the characters says to one of the other characters, like, they're having a normal conversation, and it's like not that big of a deal, and they're just like explaining to them, I'm adopted. And like, you don't really, it's very early in the movie, and when she says I'm adopted, like, the camera like zooms in on the other person's face, and like this rock like dun 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 thing happens. And she's just
lame.
And it's like, it's so over the top.
It's just dramatic for no reason.
Yes, and it's like, it's awesome. Everyone's like, this movie's terrible. Like, one of the YouTube videos that I watched was like, how to write the worst horror movie of like the millennium or something, which is hyperbolic. It's not that. It's just bonkers, and I loved it. I have a feeling that a lot of the people I'm going to talk to this movie about are not going to like it. I'm very curious to know where you, Kentrell, will stand, because of just how different we are with movies.
I saw different we are. What do you mean? Don't we like a lot of the same movies?
We do, but on the ones that I think like are great, there's some differences there.
Yeah, let's not get to that one movie we always talk about.
Well, there's that, and then there was Trance. You talking to me about Trance for like...
Did you see Trance?
Yeah.
You didn't like it?
It's fine.
It was beautiful. Did you not think so?
Not really. It was fine.
No.
See, that's what I mean. Sure. Like, a lot of times we see eye to eye, but a lot of times when I'm like, this movie, you're like, in the same way the other way.
I think sometimes we focus on different things when it comes to the movie. Like, with Trance, I liked it because one, James McAvoy, he just always looks like he's having an aneurysm, and I'm always entertained by that. And then I thought the movie was one. There were twists in there. There were like things that you didn't expect when you watched when you first the first 5-10 minutes of the movie, and then yeah, I just like the shots too. Like there were some really close, pretty low f-stop shots in there that was really good, like close-ups and stuff. But I liked all of that. That's why I thought it was really good. And I thought because you want to make movies that you would like it too, but I guess not.
It's fine.
I guess not. Oh yeah, Malignant. I want to see it though. I saw the trailer and I thought it was going to be pretty good, but I don't remember exactly what it's about. I usually like to watch trailers like once, and then I don't watch anymore because I feel like a lot of times today trailers give away most of the movie.
But that was another thing is
the middle and end on the one trailer.
Exactly. I went into this movie almost blind. Like, I remember seeing something about it months ago, but not much.
That's a great way to see a movie, though.
Yeah, and that's another reason. Like, I just kept hearing one person say, this was great, and another person saying, this was terrible. But it's...
So you're in the middle.
No, it's great. It's great. I loved it.
I mean, when you go into watching a movie, you don't have the expectation this is going to be great or the expectation this movie is going to be trash. You already think, well, I don't know what to believe because I heard one person say it's great, one person say it's bad. Now I'm just skating in the middle when I'm neutral when I go into the movie.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of times you hear like, oh, like for me, everybody's like, Avatar is the greatest movie ever. It's the best movie ever. And I watched it and I was like, this did not live up to the expectation. It didn't live up to the hype. I thought it was a good movie. It was a decent movie, and I think they spent a lot of money doing what they did. I mean,
yeah.
But I was just like, you could have saved that money for another movie too. You could have made 2 movies with the money you spent on this because it wasn't that great. I think everybody was just really impressed by the CGI and stuff.
Yeah, graphic.
But I was like, the story, yeah.
That's where the budget went.
Yeah, but I'm sorry, you were saying something?
I was? Oh, it was... I'm just saying, if you want to watch it, it's on HBO Max for 2 more days. Till the 10th.
2 more days? Yeah, I need to watch it soon then.
I think today and tomorrow it's on.
I need to watch it soon. Did you see Venom?
Not yet.
No, come on, man. That's what we needed to talk about.
Yeah.
See, I keep hearing the same thing kind of with Malignant about that movie is that, like, it's insane, but it's also great.
We went to see it last night.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say anything because I want you to talk. See it before you get any opinions on it or anything like that.
I mean, you can talk a little bit about it.
I don't want to though because I feel like I want you to see it and then tell me what you think. I want to make sure we think the same thing because we saw it with one of my coworkers last night, and me and him saw it and we thought the same thing about the movie. And I want you to see it, and I just want to make sure that I just want to confirm what I'm thinking,
Okay.
But yeah, go see that movie.
All right. Monday's a holiday for me, so maybe I'll find time to.
A holiday?
Columbus Day.
Is it?
Mm-hmm. The most
I have to
important
make
of all holidays.
Is it really? Why would you say that?
That was sarcasm.
But have you seen Dave Chappelle? The Chappelle stand up?
No. I texted you about this. I haven't seen it. I heard a lot about
but
it.
that was like
and
2 days ago.
I saw a couple of the jokes that is like causing the stir and all the backlash and stuff.
What do you think about it?
If you're planning on watching it, I'll say kind of watch it soon because they're planning on taking it off.
Are they though? I mean,
because it's causing too much controversy.
But are they going to? I mean, I know that there are companies and people who are saying it should go down. But is Netflix going to do that?
At the end of the day, it's up to Netflix CEO. It's his decision. They're all asking what he's going to do about it. He might leave it up. He might tell them to take it down. But it's depending on how many people continue to like press the issue about it.
Isaac, hear me out. Should we do something about Netflix if they get rid of this stand-up? Because they kept that other movie up there for so long. Was it Cuties or Sweeties or something?
Yeah, Cuties.
Like, if you're going to keep that up, but you're going to take down a stand-up, then that shows like where are your morals? You know, like where do you lie in this landscape we have in life?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think Netflix will take it down, and if they do,
I don't think they will either. But if they do, then they got. If they do, we got to be asking some questions.
Yeah, I was seeing a lot of clips of it. Then I got on Twitter and it was nothing but Dave Chappelle, Netflix, boycott Netflix. I said, oh, please don't tell me they're about to take it down just because of the baby joke.
It was more than that.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, the main clip that everybody was like,
that's the one everybody was upset about.
Yeah.
Which is, so this is the irony in it, Isaac. I know you haven't seen it yet, but I'm pretty sure you heard of the jokes. The joke that people are the most upset about is the one where he was talking about the baby. Everybody knows the baby is rapper here in Charlotte, right? And apparently he said some. I don't even know about that part because I don't look into it that much, but he said some homophobic things, I think, and he was getting in trouble for it. I remember him getting in trouble for it, I think it was like a month ago or something. Mm-hmm. And they were coming for him, trying to cancel him and stuff like that. And so Dave says, like, he's trying to, I guess, get him out of, what he say, like, prison or something like that. And he's like, I'm just trying to, like, advocate for his release or something like that. And he was like, because he definitely pushed that LGBTQ button, didn't he? He punched him right in the AIDS. Punched him right in the AIDS. But the part that everybody was upset about was he said that these people don't know anything about the baby. They don't realize that he killed somebody in a Walmart in North Carolina. That's true. I think it was actually here in Charlotte, right? Yeah, it was right here in Charlotte. And there's some debate about if it was self-defense or not or whatever. But he said this man killed somebody. And he said the N-word, but I think his whole point was like he killed a black man and nothing bad happened to his career. Mm-hmm. He's like, you know where I'm going with this, right? He was like, but as soon as you say something about some gay people, isn't that a weird thing though? Yeah. It's like, so the whole point is like, he's saying like, okay, this man took somebody's life, but as soon as he says something that you don't like to hear, then you got to get rid of his career. And now here we go, Dave Chappelle is saying something and speaking up about that topic, and then the same people are coming for his career. Isn't that just ironic, right?
It's ridiculous.
But yeah,
insane. My favorite thing about the whole Dave Chappelle thing, I don't know if you saw the showrunner for the show Dear White People.
Yeah,
is trans and is like, I'm not gonna work for Netflix anymore. And everyone is looking and is like, so the showrunner for the show called Dear White People is a white person, and you're boycotting Netflix because of something a black person said. Like, it's like Twitter losing its mind over that was hilarious.
Isn't that a weird thing? So this is no disrespect to you, Isaac, but I do feel like, I think Dave even said this too in stand-up. A lot of times, a lot of white people get upset and offended on behalf of black people without understanding where the black people are coming from. So, I mean, I understand like you want to protect someone or you want to stand up for someone, but I don't think a lot of times they even understand exactly what they're trying to stand up for. I feel like they just see, hey, this person. Here's a great point. So I heard a comedian say this. Sometimes you tell a joke, right? And somebody doesn't like the joke because they feel like you're punching down. And he's like, who are you to say that I'm punching down? Because for you to say that is to say like this person is beneath me. It's lower than you and I are. So to punch down on someone, I get there's some nuance to that, but I think he has a good point when he's like, you're saying that I'm punching down by telling the joke. I think the joke is funny. That person I'm talking about is funny, but you're offended on their behalf because you see that person as defenseless. You see that person as someone who can't take care of themselves or someone who is beneath us. So I'm punching down. Me and this person's on the same level. We both understand the same humor. We're both getting along and everything, but you're offended on their part. Why? Now, if you want to be offended on their part, on their behalf, then try to understand where they're coming from. Because I think a lot of times we get people who say they want to stand up for something or a group of people or something, and they don't do their due diligence to get to know that group of people or to understand what that group of people really need. And Dave said this thing in his stand-up about the feminist movement that happened a while ago. I mean, years ago, a long time ago. He said, like, I'm not doing it justice, but he said, like, there's a group of women who are advocating on part of women, right? Great thing, on board with it. He says a black woman comes there and wants to advocate on behalf of the women, and then they tell her not to talk. It's like, is she not a woman? And he's like, the point is like, it's a feminist act. It's a feminist movement because it's what the white feminist women want. But as soon as a black woman who wants to be a feminist says something, it's like, well, why are you here? Why do you have anything to say? We're already doing this on your behalf. The black woman is like, no, you don't know my full story. Let me speak what black women are going through. So it can be a true feminist movement, not just a white feminist movement. And I get that because I feel like a lot of times people are getting upset and fighting for things, but then they don't understand that the person you're fighting for is still hurting. Even if you get your way, that person you're fighting for is still hurting, and you haven't done much for them to get them out of the hurting. You may have gotten them an opportunity or something, whatever the case may be. You may have
spotlight on the situation.
Yeah, that's the only thing I think is really good is that I think a lot of times you bring conversation around it where you put a spotlight on it so people will understand that something is going on. But I don't think those people do their due diligence with getting to know who this person is or who that group of people are, and what's the phrase? Curing the disease instead of trying to take care of the symptoms. If that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like a lot of people see the symptoms and just trying to jump on board and try to fight to get rid of the symptoms. Where it's like, dude, how about we find out what the problem is? Because me, Cairo, and Ri'Yadh, we talk about this stuff all the time about how we know people who died, still running the streets and stuff, or people who just in bad places in their life right now, and it's because they didn't know any better. And I think a lot of times, a lot of education, a lot of great opportunities growing up is a good way to help people out. And I feel like you hear about the shooting, right? I think it was in Texas. Is that right?
Yeah, the high school or whatever.
Yeah. So that was a black kid that did that, right?
Yeah.
And I think the story is that he was in a fight with somebody or whatever, and he tried to shoot the guy, ended up shooting 3 people.
Yeah, I think so.
So it wasn't like the other mass shootings we hear about where someone takes a bunch of guns and weapons in school and try to shoot up everybody in the school or anything like that, right? Mm-hmm. But the idea is still, this kid came from a wealthy family, right? Taken care of, fed his entire life. But for some reason, he still carried guns around like he wanted to be in a rap music video or something. He still participated in a lifestyle that didn't necessarily line up with his environment. And so me and Ri'Yadh and Cairo were talking about it, like it seems like the family failed him, right? His parents.
Mm-hmm.
And to a certain extent, and I'm a parent, so to a certain extent, you do what you can. But I think from an early age, you teach your kids things to where they don't go in that direction. But you can't ultimately make decisions for them, And I don't know. It's just a weird thing because I feel like it's not getting a whole lot of press that this happened. But at the same time, I don't want it to look like another black dude, black on black violence kind of story as well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's a weird place to be. But again, I do feel like, I don't know. I sometimes think like we can do better as black people with taking care of our kids and being a community and raising our kids and trying to teach them different things. And for all I know, they did. they did their best. They didn't grow up in a dangerous environment where the kid felt safe carrying a gun or anything, you know.
Yeah.
But at the same time, say what?
A family spokesperson came out and said that like he was carrying the gun for protection, and that he had been bullied and robbed at the school like multiple times, and so he had like was just done with it. So
see, then it's how much communication are you having with your kid if that's going on? You know, like me and Caden have a good relationship where he can tell me anything. We talk about all things school and friends and stuff like that. I want him to be able to come and tell me that stuff. And I feel like if he ever does get bullied, he'll come and tell me about it, and we'll talk about where to go from there. And also, I feel like in high schools, in public school, Nathan, maybe you know about this, but like in public school, it's hard to get teachers to be responsible in that respect, right? Like if someone's getting bullied and stuff like that.
From when I was in high school, which really is not that long ago, they don't care. It's like they'll see it, they'll say something, they'll split it up, but then at the end of that, they're going back to their classrooms or going back to the teachers' lounge and talking. They don't really show like an effort to care. They'll say report it to the resource officers, but that's only so much. And then when it gets to the resource officers, then now everybody know, oh, well, that kid told this, that. And
yeah.
That's where that stuff gets to.
When you get labeled a snitch, then you're in trouble.
And most kids don't want to go through that. And I'm pretty sure that's what he was going through, and that's why he ended up going the route that he did.
You know,
the image for these days for kids, like the younger kids, your image is what's matter most to you. You don't care about getting an education. You don't care about
doing the right thing. You just care about.
I come from a good family. And this and the third. If somebody label you as something and you don't want to be as that label, you're gonna do everything you can to get that label off of you.
Yeah. Man, it's tough being a parent, huh? You ready for that, Isaac?
No.
It's scary. Listen, Caden is 10 right now, but he's going to be going to middle school, and I feel like I prepared him almost in every way to get ready for, bullying and sex and
introduce to
drugs and just teachers who don't care and stuff like that. Also, like, just kids being dangerous. I prepare him for danger. He knows how to fight. I feel like I prepare him a lot in a lot of things, and also having conversations about our faith and what we believe and why we believe what we believe and what people will say to you and things like that. But ultimately, I don't know where that's going to get him, Like, I can do everything I can do, but in high school, he may end up, doing something else. He might end up, leaving home and selling drugs or something like that. I have no ultimate control over him. And I don't plan on having ultimate control. What I would love to do is teach him everything that I know and teach him what he needs to know to grow up. And then he's going to get to a point where he's going to make his own decisions. Whether they're good decisions, bad decisions, he's going to make them. And hopefully if they're bad, he'll learn from them. And then that'll shape his life from there. I mean, because that's all we can ask for, right? Like, you learn from your mistakes. The problem is you have people who make mistakes and then they just keep making them and keep making them, and then they blame everybody else instead of taking the responsibility for it.
Yeah, I'm not trying to have kids. Just saying.
You know that?
Oh, yeah, she's on board with that.
Really?
Yeah.
Y'all don't really want to have kids?
No.
Dang, Isaac, you suck, man.
Wow.
Dang, man. Why not, though?
Why not?
Yeah.
For many reasons. I think if we ever do have kids, we'll look into fostering first.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm good with not bringing my biological kids into this world. for several reasons.
Okay. I was going to ask you a question, but I felt like let's not go. Actually, we can go there. Maybe Cairo will have a different viewpoint. Where are you at on like pro-choice and pro-life? I almost forgot what it was.
I mean, if you want to like summarize it into words, yeah, that would probably I would fall into the pro-life camp.
Yeah, yeah. So here's my idea, or my thought, is that I feel like today the word or phrase pro-life just means a Republican standing on the side of the street yelling at abortion clinics, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't think that's what pro-life is. I feel like if we're going to say we're pro-life, we have to do better jobs at being pro-lifers. So that means like volunteering at the pregnancy crisis centers and adopting kids and helping out in foster care. And I know a lot of people who do these things, but I feel like a lot of times people would just say, I'm pro-life on Facebook, and then they just leave it at that. And that's not how it works, you know? Like, join the PTA and make sure your school is taken care of for the kids who need to be taken care of. Because some of those kids are foster kids, you know? They didn't have parents. If a woman is in an unfortunate place where she needs to take care of a kid by herself, help her out. If you know her, why not help her out? That's how we should love our neighbor, right? Mm-hmm. There's just a lot of things that we can be doing, and I feel like we don't do it. And also, I think pro-life, I know this, pro-life is more than just babies, right? It's life in general. My pastor was telling us one time how, like, he was with the church, and I think some of the elders and stuff, they were going to, like, I guess do something near a abortion clinic or something. And he was like, on the way there, we passed a bunch of homeless people, and they were asking for money, and then the guys didn't even want to give them money. How's that showing pro-life? You know what I mean? It's like these people have life too. Their life is valuable too. We see life as a precious thing. They have life. Help them out.
Yeah.
And I even wanted to start like a nonprofit to help the local homeless problem we have here in Charlotte. But hopefully I'll get to do that one day. But again, pro-life is just more than just yelling at people who want to get abortions or people who support abortion.
All right. So that was kind of what you were talking about, was what kind of disillusioned me a little bit with like the pro-life movement as a whole.
Oh, yeah.
Because, I mean, and I feel like that happened for a lot of people, and especially like I used to be a registered Republican, and I am not anymore. And like I got disillusioned with that whole party and that whole movement in 2016. Like that's when it really changed, was the whole Donald Trump movement. I mean, I feel like I'd started to fall or distance myself before then, but that was really what pushed me over the edge, because it all came down to one issue, and it was a very binary way of looking at that issue, and we're seeing that now with like Texas, of like it's all about legislation and abortion, and that's it. And like they're okay with putting kids in cages, and they don't care about making policy changes that help people in those situations, like single mothers or people like that who feel like they're trapped by by decisions. They don't care as much about poverty or any of that stuff. They just care about abortion. And if you look like historically, a lot of the Republicans who get in office who are about that, abortions go up under them because the policies that help actually reduce those numbers get cut because they think it's handouts or unnecessary or something. And it just the whole thing kind of. I used to be the stand on sidewalks outside of abortion clinics.
You did?
I did. As a kid, yeah.
So hear me out and correct me if I'm wrong, because I might be way off base, but I think I'm onto something here. The way some people are handling abortion is almost a legalistic way. And when I say that, I mean like when it comes to legalism, we understand what we're taught in the 10 Commandments in the Bible, right? Mm-hmm. But the thing is, we were given those commandments to enjoy God and to enjoy the life that He's given us, right?
Okay.
And to serve Him and to serve our neighbors and love Him and love our neighbors, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's how you break down the 10 Commandments. The first 5 is how to serve God and how to love Him. The second 5 is how to serve and love your neighbor, right? Now, that's why Jesus says, when they asked Him what's the most important commandment, He said the first one, to love God. And then the second one is like it, to love your neighbor, right? So legalism takes all of the love and enjoyment out of it and says, these are the rules. If you break them, then you get punished. Or if you break them, then you're not a Christian anymore or something like that. That's what legalism does. But when it comes to abortion, it's like, okay, we have kids. We want to enjoy them. We want to take care of them. We want to love the kids. We want to love the people who are having the kids. We want to love the people who need help taking care of kids. And that's what we should be trying to do. But what a lot of people are, the approach that a lot of people are taking to abortion is evil, and if you do anything about it, we should punish you. But they completely forget the most important part of it is, how do we love these people who are in these situations?
And what are their like contributing factors to lead them to this?
Yeah, because here's the thing. Whatever the abortion law is in any state, if you succeed at not, let's say if there's 100% no abortions at all because of we made some type of perfect law that no one's able to have an abortion, right? Then what do you do when there's millions of kids who are in bad homes, or millions of kids who get abandoned, or millions of kids who just are with parents who can't help take care of them? And again, I'm not against abortion laws. I'm just thinking that we should also remember that we have to not do it just to, punish people, but what's the reason behind the abortion law? Is it because you want to appease a certain agenda, or appease a certain party, or appease a certain group of people or supporters? Or do you want to just punish as many people that you think are bad as possible? Or is it because you think life is important and you want to take care of that life?
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people don't take the approach that life is precious and we need to make sure we take care of it. And I feel like people don't do that. I feel like people just look at it and say, hey, that's bad. They should be in trouble.
Yeah.
And yeah. And yeah. What about you, Nathan? What you think?
So I had this conversation with people at work. Me personally, I'm pro-life. I mean, it wasn't a kid's choice to be brought into the world, or in the process to be brought into the world. So that kid should, be at least, since it's here, or it's about to be here, should be given the chance to live it.
Really quick, before you say anything, I just want to say this. What you just said is a good point, because I feel like a lot of the argument too for pro-choice people is like, oh, that kid is going to come into this world and not be taken care of, or they won't have a chance to have an adequate life. But the thing is, 2 questions. What your standard of a prosperous life is different from what that kid may see. That kid may love being a husband and working at the, Food Line. This kid may love working and providing for his family and just being a manager. So at a why are you still texting me? At first I was like, maybe it's just from earlier and it just came in late. No, but I was thinking like maybe this kid is so like maybe this kid may just want to. Maybe this kid want to go to NBA. We don't know. Maybe this kid wants to be a doctor. We don't know. Maybe this kid may just be content with being a wife that sits home and take care of her kids. Or maybe a wife that owns her own business. We don't know what that kid's life is going to be, right? And so for people to say, hey, we shouldn't allow this kid to come into a life with a bad situation and won't have a good life because of where things started. You don't know where that kid's standard of life is. And then the other thing here is, what if they did come into a world where they're being abused, where they've been, not able to eat as much as other people can, or their family is poor or something like that. And it's funny because we all love Cinderella stories. We all love the celebrity who was picked up off the middle, who was like homeless at one point in L.A. and then they end up being like a blockbuster actor, right? We all love the Tyler Perry, the one who was being abused as a kid, molested and stuff like that, and now he owns his own company and makes millions of dollars every year and has a freaking film studio in Atlanta. He pretty much runs Atlanta. You know what I mean? But who are you to say that that kid's life was not going to mean anything? Who are you to say Tyler Perry wasn't going to mean anything before he was born? You know what I mean? So anyway, that's what you just said just now made me think of that, because I feel like a lot of people jump on that and think this is why you shouldn't have the kid.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm pro-choice, but I also have the other side of me that says, well, who am I to tell a woman what to do with her body? You know what I'm saying? And that's the other argument that normally comes up with how we supposed to tell a woman. Because, like, let's say it was a rape that happened and she wanted to get the abortion with that. Because she see the kid, she's always going to remember, oh, that's the face of the guy that did this to me, or such and such like that. And that also comes back to the point where you was like, well, we are going to do the whole, let's try, do away with abortion and whatnot. Then, all right, now we got to create a system to where we help women who goes through that. So that way the kid and the woman, and the woman or the mother of the child, get the help that they need to where she can, do what she had to do to raise the kid that she came from something of, how you say, ill intent.
Yeah. Isaac, what do you think about the whole rape part of it all?
I mean, that is a very, like, it's a tough, like, thing to talk about, because it's like nobody wants to tell a rape victim that's dealing with that, like, they can't deal with that in that way, because as much as the baby didn't choose to be conceived, the woman certainly didn't choose that either.
Agree.
I mean, so I have a hard time coming down hard on this issue. I guess on one hand, they don't have to keep the baby. Like, they could give it up for adoption.
Yeah.
But I mean, the arguments that I've always heard is aborting a baby conceived in rape is taking one victim and making it two, whereas the woman is the victim of the rape and the baby is too, and to abort it is like to create a more difficult thing. The telling a woman what to do with her body, that is also very tough, because the baby is completely dependent on her body, and at the same time is its own body.
That's what I was thinking too, is like when I hear that argument, like, a woman shouldn't be told what to do with her body, and I think it was like you were saying, like, the baby is also its own body too. So who are you to tell? Well, I'm thinking, like, for a woman to say, like, this is my body, this is my choice. Well, the baby is not your body. It may be your baby, but that doesn't mean that I can go kill my son tomorrow because I don't feel like I have enough money to take care of him or something like that, right? And so rape is tough, like you were saying, is because, like, and this is why I think, again, we need to be better at being pro-lifers. It's because there are people who deal with rape. And I don't care what people say about, like, the percentage of how many babies, come from rape and stuff. It doesn't matter. If there is one person in the entire world that deals with that, we need to figure out how to help that woman, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that it's hard to tell her, hey, you can't have an abortion, right? And in the world we live in, she's in a position where she kind of has a choice if she wants to have the baby or not. And for me being a pro-lifer, of course I want her to keep the baby. But if she decides to get rid of it, I'm still going to love her through that. I'm not just going to, shun her or not talk to her or say she's evil or anything like that, because she's still hurting,
Yeah.
And I think
compassion, I feel like, with a lot of pro-lifers about that.
And let's say if she gets an abortion in Texas and goes to prison or something, well, then I'm going to see if I can see her in prison. You know what I mean? But I think there should be more compassion when it comes to that, and I don't think people do a good job. I don't know, man. I just feel like when you look at news and articles and stuff, it's like extreme left or extreme right. It's like, can we all just like figure out what the right way is instead of, standing on one side of the line and just not wanting to listen to the other side.
I feel like that's the other like thing is like I don't know if there is a one answer that's right thing.
Well, yeah. We should work together to do what we think. We'll I guess compromise and figure out how to do the best that we can.
Because you have that where you have like you were saying like stories of people who are conceived in rape who go on and live a full life and are like, I'm so thankful that I was given this, and like
yeah. And here's the other thing too. I was saying that Cairo would probably disagree because I think he's pro-choice, but I think I was talking to him and his brother, and they were saying like, and maybe he can defend himself if I'm misrepresenting him when he gets back. But I think they were saying like for example, people with disabilities that are born, and I'm like that's not fair. I mean, because like again, you're saying this kid's life isn't important because he's disabled in one way or the other. Like I don't care if it's Down syndrome. I know a guy who has no arms and no legs, Isaac. This guy runs a business. He's a motivational speaker. He's having the time of his life. He has a beautiful wife and has gorgeous kids. And I'm like, this dude's life looks better than mine. Who are you to say that he wasn't going to have an adequate life because of that? You know what I mean?
No.
And I see this stuff all the time. Like I love to follow like social media people who like has one leg, but they work out and they're in better shape than I am. You know?
Yeah.
There are people with one leg who can run faster than I can. You know what I mean? And it's like I don't really like that argument either because I do feel like again it's a life. Who are you to say that they're half of a person or they're sometimes quite literally, but half of a human soul and half of you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, because and it's not the first time these questions have been wrestled with. Like I read a book. This is a high recommend, called Imbeciles over the summer. And it's a book about the American eugenics program back in the early 1900s. And
oh yeah.
And how people were a lot of the wealthy higher society people were looking at poverty as something that is so detrimental to quality of life and mental illness that like they were advocating, and this is a case that went to the Supreme Court for forced sterilization of a woman.
Wait, really quick. Is that like a specific brand of women?
It was a poor woman. She was white.
Okay, I was thinking like, cause this sounds like you hear about like conspiracies and you hear about like black people talk about this a lot, but it's like, oh, black people were experimenting on and they tried to sterilize us so we couldn't have any more kids and blah blah blah.
Yeah, this book it went to the Supreme Court and they ruled that they could forcibly sterilize this woman. The Supreme Court of the United States. The Nazis built their eugenics program on the American model.
Based off that, that's crazy, man.
Yes, they in the Nuremberg trials, one of the lead Nazi doctors quoted one of our American Supreme Court judges in defense of what they did. Like it's the same argument of one person says this person's quality of life isn't going to be worth living. And they have no right to stand in that position.
That's crazy. It's crazy the things we fight about too. In the world we live in today, you're getting people, getting in trouble from telling jokes. You got people getting thrown in prison for trying to do what they think is right, but also on the other end, you have people willingly killing. What's it, Iowa or Idaho or something like that? A state that allowed post-birth abortions or something like that.
Yeah, I don't remember what.
I think it was like post-partial abortion. I think what it was is like, as long as the head doesn't come out, you can still. That's crazy. I mean, who wouldn't say that it's a baby at that time? Like, if your argument is, oh, it isn't a human being until blah blah blah, when the baby comes out and their body is wiggling and the head is still in, you still don't think that's a baby?
No.
I don't know if they ever actually did any, but that's crazy just to even suggest that that's okay.
Yeah.
But that's the world we live in today, man.
Yeah, it is. What an interesting podcast. We go from Malignant and Venom to American eugenics.
Yeah. American eugenics. Oh, I have one. You know who John Jones is?
The fighter?
The UFC fighter?
Yeah.
This fool is in jail again. Well, he got arrested again. You know about that?
I know about the 18 NBA players, but not the.
I didn't know about all of them. I didn't look into it.
Health fraud. That's crazy.
And
that's like something you ain't getting up for.
So John Jones, UFC John Jones, I think is the best MMA fighter of all time. Right? Incredibly skilled, smart guy. He has I was gonna say smart guy. He has a good head on his shoulders, but not really. So he has a history of like getting in trouble, whether it's like getting pulled over for speeding or hitting somebody or drunk driving, whatever the case may be, or getting in trouble with the UFC for doing drugs and stuff. He has a long history of this stuff, and recently he was arrested for domestic violence at a hotel, right? Mm-hmm. And I feel like I love the guy as a fighter. I think he's the best fighter ever. And I think it's going to be tough to find somebody who can beat him. I think there probably is someone who can beat him. But I think it's tough. And
I'm sorry.
But if you ask me, though, what are you laughing about?
I'm laughing because the last time you talked up a fighter, you remember? So every time you come up, there's a UFC fight happening, and we go to Buffalo Wild Wings to watch it, and you remember, you know what I'm talking about. You already know the guy that you were like, this guy's the best fighter. He's undefeated. He's gonna come out. He looked like a office worker or something, and you're like,
shut up.
You know what I'm talking about. You're like, he's got the best.
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
And you're talking him all up, and the fight starts, and he gets knocked out in like 10 seconds.
It wasn't even, listen, it wasn't 10 seconds. It was the fastest knockout in UFC history.
That's right.
You're talking about being Askren. So I had only seen him fight one time, and he fought Robbie Lawyer, and I knew Robbie Lawyer was a beast. But he came in and choked Robbie Lawyer out. Some people say he wasn't choked out. I think he was. And I'm like, this dude can wrestle? It's crazy. If he gets somebody on the ground, then they might be in trouble. And he's fighting Jorge Masvidal. Jorge didn't like him for whatever reason. And he's literally just sitting there smirking at him. You probably saw the highlights. He leans against the fence, just hands behind his back, leans back like this. They blow the horn so he can fight. And the first thing you do, Jorge does, he's like round off to the side a little bit. Walks over to the side a little bit, and then takes off running, right? And the first thing Ben Askren does, because he's a wrestler, is to go down, because he can't fight. He can't throw hands. So he's going to go down. Jorge knew that. So he went knee first, boom, right in the top of the head.
Knocked out.
Man went limp. And it's funny because I listen to people talk about sports and stuff all the time, right? Ben Askren was fighting against Jake Paul, that boxing match. Have you heard about that?
Yeah.
I don't know if MMA and UFC people are just trying to like hype him up or whatever. But when he was going to that fight and the amount of people that were saying that, oh, I think he can knock Jake Paul out. I was like, have you not watched this kid fight before? I'm telling you, like, you throw a jab like this, right? This is what he does. And then try to wrestle you. He doesn't know how to punch anybody. And so I'm like, well, why does anybody think he's going to win this fight? But anyway, back to John Jones. Yeah, so he got arrested for...
the last time you talked up a fighter, he got knocked out the fastest ever.
Well, John Jones is great, though. He is great.
Okay.
The thing is though, I think at this point he should be um released and like a lifetime ban. Even though I want to see him fight again, it's just you can't. And I believe in second chances. I just don't think you can allow someone to. You can't enable someone to keep doing the same things over and over again. And for this is the first time, as far as I know, he's been arrested for domestic violence, but we don't know if that's happened before. And if he has a history of getting in trouble, drunk driving, and um, cocaine and all this other stuff he's been doing, and then now it comes to a head where it's like domestic abuse. Like, come on, man. Like, it feels like he feels like he might be invincible. He can get away with murder, which it could come to eventually. I mean, the first big thing I think was when he got into an accident because he was on something. I think he was drunk or on the drug or something, and crashed into a woman, and then he just fled the scene. Like, he could have killed that woman that day. So I mean, you can't allow someone to get through it. I was talking to Ri'Yadh about it earlier because he was like, "Man, what's wrong with your boy?" And I was like, "I don't know, man." The thing is, he was like, he has so much money and all this stuff, and he's still getting in trouble. And I was like, "That's the problem, man. Is that money doesn't do anything but exasperate the problem." So like, I was telling him, I was like, a cheater is only gonna become a worse cheater when they get more money and more fame. Someone who does drugs is just gonna have more access to drugs when they get more money, more fame. So yeah, I think the more we hype him up, the more we give him money, the more we keep getting him opportunities, it's just gonna get worse, and it's getting worse as we can see.
What's your opinion on Conor McGregor?
In what way?
Like, what's your opinion on him? Do you like him? Do you not?
So, I like to see Conor fight, and I like his antics. He's crazy. I think here's a couple things. I think Conor is a good fighter, and he's good at promotion. He knows how to get people in the seats, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes he goes overboard,
Mm-hmm.
but I think for him it's like this is just a way to market. And you saw that with the Khabib fight. It's like he went overboard to the point I think he even got arrested for all that stuff he was doing. But it sold out that show, that fight, right? Like that, I think that might have been the most money made in the UFC event, or most pay-per-views or something like that. But you see, he was getting his butt whooped in the fight, right? And then he was saying to Khabib, he said, "Hey man, it's all business. It's all business." And Khabib was like, "No, it's not business. Let's talk now. You want to talk? Let's talk now." But it's funny because it's like Conor knows what he's doing,
Yeah.
but those antics creates enemies. And then also what happens if you don't keep winning like that? If you don't keep winning, then that stuff you're doing, you're just going like a butthole doing all that stuff, right? So for me, I feel like
I can't stand him.
for me, I feel like Conor is great for the sport of UFC. I think he can keep the sport running, which is why I don't want him to lose. But at the same time, I know he's not the best fighter, and for me, I like to see the best fighters. And so sometimes when he's fighting, I'm like, oh, this dude's going to beat him. I thought Poirier was going to beat him, and it happened. I just didn't want Poirier to beat him because I felt like if Conor loses now, then he's probably like on his way out from the UFC,
Yeah. Did you see his little beef with MGK?
Oh, the little smack stuff. Do you think that was fake?
I don't know. I don't know at this point. I'm enjoying. Did you see? This is so like disconnected, but MGK and his beef with like the old rockers.
He has a beef with everybody.
Yeah.
It's unreal. But one of the guys
What's
came out.
happening?
He insulted them. They insult like they're just going back and forth. But one of them, it was so funny. He was like, I don't really care about musicians who got beat out of one genre by Eminem, like trying to come over and pretend like he's part of this other genre. Like, it was so good. I was dying laughing.
I think he did a terrible transition. I think you gotta like I think of like people like Nelly and like Yellow Wolf. It's like they have their roots. Nelly is, I think he's from St. Louis, and there's a country vibe out there. So Nelly listens to country. He's always involved in the country scene somehow, and so his cadence when he speaks is he even has like a country dialect, if you will, and so when he makes rap music, it's like, oh snap, he from the dirty South, and oh snap, I like that accent. Oh, this dude Nelly is cool, and then he switches over to country a little bit, and he's like, okay, I like the country beat and the rapping on top of it. And now he's done like, I think his last album was like almost 100% country music, and I'm like, everybody, it's not a surprise when that happens, right?
Yeah.
But for Yellow, it was like straight up spitting bars and spitting fast and rapping really fast, and next thing you know, it's like, oh, he's the next Eminem kind of thing, and then all of a sudden, like, he's a rock star. It's like, that was kind of weird. That was an abrupt turn.
Plot twist.
Yeah, and like Yellow Wolf is from Alabama, and the way he talk, he has that like Alabama swang and twang to his voice, and so he has that like Nashville kind of feel where it's like the old time country. Like if you look at Yellow Wolf, you think like Cadillacs and Sevilles and Johnny Cash and things like that. When you look at him and you look at his life and stuff, and so when he was rapping, he was a good rapper. But when he started to make music, that was kind of like, throwing a banjo in there and things like that. It's like, okay, I get it. That's what he's from, right? So it wasn't weird for him. But again, MGK, man, he just completely switched up. But I see why people are mad about that. Yeah, tell us about the insurance fraud stuff. I don't know a lot about it.
I forgot who they said originally started it. He started it, and then he told everybody else to get up on it.
Who was he?
If I can find the name. I don't know his name off the top of my heart.
Off the top of my heart, I never heard that one before.
Off the top of my heart. Yeah, I come up with new stuff all the time.
Speak from the heart.
I can't think of it off the top of my heart. But what's happening though?
Okay, but basically, the NBA is going through all the claims that happened, and that's how they're getting everybody. It's 18 of them. Glenn Davis, he's one of the people that's.
Oh, it's from the Celtics, right?
It's multiple teams, not just one team.
Okay.
But majority of them is from the Celtics, and they're all arrested now.
Really?
Yeah, they all got in custody now. The other day was just only 14 of them, and then the other 4 was still deciding what they was going to do. But now they all got caught now.
So how do you commit? Was it insurance fraud or healthcare fraud or something?
It was health insurance fraud.
What? How did they do
$4 million.
that? Have you heard this, Isaac?
No.
How do you do that? How does one get away with that?
Yeah, I was trying to find out.
They did.
They were saying.
Well, they didn't. But what is the thing that they got in trouble for doing? Like saying like healthcare fraud or something.
It's basically they was like going through their family or whatever, like the wives and stuff, and it was going down to like other people in their family using the same thing, but they was basically saying it was on the player.
So like for example, if my grandma has a surgery she needs to do on her knee, I would like allow her to use my insurance,
Basically,
something like that.
That's how it was going. And I was trying to find out, well, ain't you supposed to go through the medical staff of the team in order to do this?
Yeah. Well, were they retired when they did it, or were they?
I think they were doing this while they was in the league.
Yeah, and then also like I don't know about you, but when I go to the hospital and the doctor comes in, or the nurse comes in, and she says, "Hey, the doctor will be in a little bit." Before I even see the doctor, that little lady or that man comes in with the computer. It's like, "Hey, let me get your insurance information." At what point did they say, "Hey, you don't look like LeBron James"?
So what they was doing? So when they did it, so like let's say. So from what I was reading, it was basically saying like, let's say Glenn Davis said he had a knee injury or something like that. They're reporting those claims that, oh, I already got this looked at. Here's a medical bill, so they can get reimbursed for that money. You know what I'm saying? To get it paid for. And they were using other family members to do it. And that's how they was getting their money back. And that's collecting off of that.
That's crazy. Why would you even need to do that, if you're making that much money?
Yeah, but they saw another person that did it was Tony Allen.
Tony Allen, yeah.
Sebastian Telfair.
These are like B-list players too. I mean, not like people on the bench you don't know about. Yeah. These are like guys who played in championship games and stuff. That's crazy. Isaac, you want to talk a little football?
I want to stay away from the subject.
Why is that?
My team lost to the Giants last weekend. I'm not happy.
Wait, what team? What's your team?
Saints.
Really?
We went to the overtime, and as soon as they won the coin toss, and he said, "We want the boom. We want the boss." Yeah, it's over for us.
Oh yeah. I saw that video.
For the record, he didn't say that, but
Yeah.
exact words.
Those weren't his. You're paraphrasing here.
I can't say the actual words.
But hey, listen, Isaac, your team is just
I don't want.
awful this year.
I can talk about football, but let's not talk about my team. My team's not playing football.
What's happening over there? Do they need to get rid of Ben at this point?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's just the bottom line.
Yes.
Let me tell you something.
Hold on. Isaac, do you know of a guy on YouTube? His name is Chiseled Adonis.
No. Wait. What does he do? That sounds.
He basically do commentary over like sports and like different stuff. But he's a Steelers fan. You should watch it. You'll probably die laughing.
Is he mad? Like always cussing and stuff?
Yes.
Listen, I'll give you something else. So I never thought that Juju was as good a receiver as everybody thought he was.
Oh, never.
I thought that he was just able to get what was free because of
The publicity.
No. I thought because of Antonio Brown being there.
Oh yeah.
He was getting double coverage.
Juju
You don't think
is a
so?
good receiver. Ben missed him so many times on Sunday.
Oh, I believe Ben is going to miss
recently,
him.
yes.
But I bet if you put him in there,
Nah.
give him a good quarterback, I still don't think Juju is going to be that A-list receiver that you think. No.
Yeah. He's a tough son of a gun. He
may be tough. That means he can catch.
he can catch. He can catch.
I believe he can catch. I just don't think he's able to get as he's not. I don't think he can get open like an Antonio Brown or a Keenan Allen or Hobson.
He's not Antonio Brown. He's not. He's Hines Ward.
No.
That style, yes.
No.
Yeah.
Well, he may be tough to be like Hines Ward, but I don't think he's going to be killing the slot like Hines would.
Okay.
And why would you bring up Hines Ward? That was like 20 years ago. You can't bring up any new examples. But my Chargers, on the other hand,
I don't know what got into y'all. New quarterback
listen, there's nothing that got into it. We always had it. We just had a cap. We had
Before we move past the Steelers, can I just say it makes no sense to me why or how we beat the Buffalo Bills. Like, how did...
that was
I was looking at that too. I was like, y'all win a game? Who?
that was weird. Was it in overtime or something like that?
No. We beat them straight up.
Mm-hmm.
I think they just had a bad day.
It was the first game of the season for regular season, right?
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was probably they just had a bad day. They were recuperating for the preseason.
I guess.
But
and also, we should have had the score from Sunday against Green Bay should have been closer because that was not offsides. That blocked field goal.
Right.
Hey, this is what losers do. They start harping on every little thing about how they lost. Hey, believe me, I understand because I'm a Chargers fan, so I understand what those close losses mean. Like every little incident causes a difference. Listen, we lost our game this year. Our only game we lost this year was against the Cowboys because we made stupid offensive penalties that took 2 touchdowns away from us. So I understand that, but that's what losers do.
Look, as a Saints fan, I'm always triggered by the word pass interference.
Don't want to hear about it. Listen, when I grew up playing basketball, my coach always said, stop complaining about the little stuff because you shouldn't be in that position in the first place.
And I always say that, but it's like, those were blatant ones when we got called on.
Yeah, but the thing, again, though, like,
I understand.
If I'm winning by 20, you can hold me down on the ground. I don't care. But anyway, again, Chargers might go to Super Bowl this year. I don't care if you believe it or not, Isaac. But listen, they're doing it, man. They're doing. Every team they played this year, they've just been dominant. The only thing is, again, that bad offense touchdown. Those touchdowns being taken away against the Cowboys. Other than that, I mean, we torched the other 2 teams we played against. we beat Kansas City, our defense played amazing. They had 5 turnovers. Our defense is in position to do great things this year.
Kansas City gonna be Kansas City again, or is like that?
I don't know. They can
Win
be.
by 4.
Yeah,
That's
we let up.
dominating.
We let up after a while.
That's not dominating. I'm gonna say
And,
no.
and then what?
Curious. You lost to the Cowboys.
Yeah, I told you that. We had 2 touchdowns taken away.
Okay, sure. It's the little things. Why you complain? That's what losers do. You beat an overrated Chiefs. Okay.
Overrated. You don't think they're Super Bowl
I mean,
quality?
their problem is the same as there always is that if it's a shootout, they're gonna win. If it's not, they're gonna lose because their defense can't stand up. Like they
Good
just,
take. Good take.
let's see, who else did you?
Raiders last week or Monday night.
Yeah, which you guys
Which what?
you guys beat them and you beat them pretty good, but that was also an interesting game.
I mean, those Raiders almost did lose to the Dolphins.
Yeah, they were saying that David Carr could be MVP before we beat him. Did you hear what Joey Bosa said about him? He said we knew. Oh, we're gonna kill the Browns. I don't hear that. Listen, Joey said that if you touch David Carr, then he gets scared, and you know that he's like his head is on the swivel at that point. So if you can get to him like once or twice in the game, hit him pretty hard, then he's gonna be shell shocked for the rest of the game. And that seems to be the case because that's what happened in our game. And now it looks like if other teams get a chance to do that, we'll see how the Raiders really turn out this year. But I was just saying about the Chargers that we got rid of Anthony Lynn, who was really conservative in his play style, and that hindered us. You would see a lot last year where we would lose a game by a field goal or lose a game because we took too long getting to the end zone when we could have scored. Or there was one game, I lied to you not, Isaac. We were winning by like 14 or 20 or something like that, right? And then we get to the fourth quarter, and we have a rookie of the year quarterback who already has 300 yards passing in the game, no interceptions. I think he didn't have any interceptions. So in the fourth quarter, when you're winning, you decide to run the entire fourth quarter, and your quarterback does not pass the ball at all in the fourth quarter. And you end up going to overtime, and you lose that game. That's a conservative problem when it comes to coaching. And so we don't have that problem anymore, which is why I think we're going to be a problem this year. Nobody can stop us, man.
Okay. I mean,
Only we
apparently
can
the
stop.
Cowboy.
No. You see, yeah, I got you before you got a chance to say it. Only we. But, all right, I know you got to get out of here, Isaac. Really quick, tell people where they can find you.
You can find me in Frederick, Maryland. You can find me on.
You gonna give them your address and your social too?
Here's the Addy. Pull up. No, I'm just kidding. You can find me on Twitter at Gatger, here on Twitch, Gatger Gaming. I also have a podcast.
How do you spell that?
Gatger. Gatger.
What is that, by the way?
It's my tag. It's just.
What does that mean?
It doesn't mean anything. It's just me.
Where did you get Gatger? You just like put a random generator in or something?
No. I literally slapped my keyboard, and then kind of like moved some letters around and was like, yeah, that rolls off the tongue. Gatger. Yeah, I like it. I've had that name since
All right.
2012 or something. Like, yeah, it's been around a while.
At least you don't have to worry about nobody ever stealing it before you get on anything.
That's true. All right, go ahead. What else we got?
I have a podcast with a buddy of mine, Mike Bryant, who we were on hiatus because he moved to California. I was planning a wedding, so like we went on break, but we're talking right now about making a comeback this month, starting it back up. It's called The Movie Underground. It's all about movies, and we have a lot of fun over there. It is, yeah. But that's your own Twitch, The Movie Underground, and yeah, the best trilogies of all time. We're in like round 3 of that, so.
I did like the thing. I think it was like Disney villains bracket that y'all did. That was cool. I like that. Nathan, what about you? Where can people find you if you want them to find you?
Mainly Instagram. Young Simba.
Young, is that YUNG?
No, YOUNGSYMBH.
Okay, Young Simba Instagram. And you don't need to find me anywhere. But really quick, before we leave, Isaac, really quick, do you have a shameless plug for the week?
Malignant. Or actually, since I already talked about Malignant, I will plug the #1 show in I don't know how many countries at this point, but the Squid Games.
Yeah.
Squid Games on Netflix.
Yeah.
Just give that a watch.
Hey, listen, we're gonna have like a Squid Game night at Ri'Yadh's house. Some people are gonna be dressed as like the soldiers or whatever they are, and the contestants, and Ri'Yadh is gonna be the front man, and we're gonna actually go through some of the games. It's gonna be fun, man.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing.
What about you? Shameless plug, Nate?
I don't have one this week.
You don't? No. I have a simple one. Because I've been working a lot lately, it's been hard to be really creative and come up with things. And I realized that one thing that's changed in my life is that I haven't been reading a lot. So getting back to reading fiction is on my list to do for the rest of the year and just in life in general, because I want to be a great writer, and to be a great writer, you got to understand story structure and all that stuff. So yeah, reading, fiction, all that stuff. So yeah, anyway, but thank you for being here again, Isaac. Nathan, thank you for showing up. No, thank you, Cairo. And all right, but yeah, if you guys, I hope this ends up being pretty good, and you guys like watching us, and you guys will come back, and I promise we're going to get better at doing this. We'll get better cameras, better equipment. We'll get better at structuring the podcast and all these things. And if anybody is watching us or listening to us right now, if you got some suggestions or anything that can make us better, let us know. We really appreciate it. But yeah, that's all we got. We're the Storytellers.